I'm 76 years old, and I've spent my entire life being the nice one, the easy one, the one who never made trouble, the one who said yes when she meant no, who smiled when she was breaking, who put everyone else's comfort ahead of her own for so long that I forgot it. And now I sit in this apartment alone, and I wonder, who was I doing it all for? Because they're gone now. The people I bent myself into knots for, the ones I gave my hours and my energy and my silence to, they've moved on, moved away. Some have died. Some just stopped calling. And I'm still here, 76 years old, sitting with the bill for a life I spent paying everyone else's debts. Let me tell you how it started. I was raised to be agreeable. That's the word my mother used. Margaret, be agreeable. She said it like it was the highest virtue a girl could have. Don't make waves. Don't cause problems. Don't be difficult. I learned that lesson so well, I turned it into a religion. When I was 23, I married Harold. He was a decent man. Not cruel, not unkind. But he was the kind of man who assumed his opinions were the right ones, and I was the kind of woman who never corrected him. He wanted to live near his family, so we did. I wanted to live closer to the coast. I'd always dreamed of waking up to the sound of waves, but I didn't say that. I nodded. I agreed. I told myself it didn't matter. We lived 41 years in that house, 3 blocks from his mother. I never saw the ocean until I was 64. Here's what no one tells you about being the nice one. At first, it feels like love. People smile at you. They thank you. They say things like, I don't know what we'd do without you. And that feels good. It feels like you matter. But over time, you realize something. They're not thanking you because they see you. They're thanking you because you're useful. Because you make their lives easier. Because you never ask for anything. So you never cost them anything. And the moment you're not useful anymore, the phone stops ringing. I spent decades being the one who hosted every holiday. Every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, every Easter. I cooked for 20 people sometimes. I cleaned before they came and after they left. I bought the gifts, wrapped the gifts, mailed the cards. No one ever offered to take a turn. And I never asked. Because asking would be making a fuss. Asking would be difficult. And I wasn't difficult. I was Margaret. Dependable Margaret. Sweet Margaret. The one who handled things. My children grew up watching me disappear. I don't think they meant to learn what they learned, but they learned it. They learned that my needs didn't matter. That I would always adjust. That I could be taken for granted because I had given them permission to do exactly that. My daughter lives in Seattle now. We talk maybe once a month. Short conversations. She asks how I'm doing, but she doesn't wait for a real answer. My son is in Chicago. He calls on my birthday. Sometimes. I used to tell myself that this was just how adult children were. Busy. Distracted. Living their lives. And maybe that's partly true. But I also know this. They don't really know me. They know the version of me that served them. The one who packed their lunches and drove them to practice and helped with their homework and never complained. They know the mother who was always fine, always managing, always there. They don't know what I dreamed about. What I gave up. What I wanted and never said out loud. Because I never told them. I thought being selfless was a gift. I didn't realize it was also a wall. There's a moment I go back to late at night when I can't sleep. I was 44. Harold's company was transferring him to Denver, and he came home excited. He said it was a big opportunity. More money. Better title. He'd already told them yes. He didn't ask. I had a job I loved. I was working at a small publishing house editing manuscripts. It wasn't glamorous, but it was mine. I was good at it. My boss had just told me there might be a senior position opening up. And Harold came home and told me we were moving. I remember standing in the kitchen, holding a dish towel, feeling something rise up in my chest. Something that wanted to say, no, I don't want to go. This matters to me. I matter. But I didn't say it. I smiled. I told him that was wonderful news. I gave my notice 2 weeks later. I never worked in publishing again. Denver was fine. The house was nice. I found a part-time job at a bookstore, which I pretended was enough. But it wasn't. Something in me went quiet that year. Some part of me that had been hoping I'd eventually speak up just accepted that I never would. And I didn't. For the next 30 years, I didn't. Harold passed away 8 years ago. Heart attack. Quick. He was there, and then he wasn't. At the funeral, people kept telling me how lucky I'd been. 41 years of marriage. A good man. A stable life. And I nodded. I said thank you. I played the role of the grateful widow. But inside, I felt something I didn't expect. I felt relieved. Not because I didn't love Harold. I did, in my way. But because for the first time in 41 years, no one was going to make a decision for me. I thought that would be freeing. I thought I'd finally become myself. But here's what I discovered. I didn't know who that was. I had spent so long being agreeable, being accommodating, being nice that I had no idea what I actually wanted. I didn't know what foods I liked best. I always cooked what Harold preferred. I didn't know what movies I enjoyed. I always watched what he chose. I didn't know where I wanted to travel or how I wanted to spend my days or who I wanted to be. I was 70 years old, and I was a stranger to myself. That's the cost no one warns you about. When you spend your whole life making room for others, you don't leave any room for yourself. And when the others are gone, there's just an empty space where a person should be. I tried. After Harold died, I tried to find myself. I took a painting class. I was terrible at it. I joined a book club, but I never said what I really thought about the books. I went on a trip to California with a group from church, but I spent the whole time making sure everyone else was comfortable. Old habits don't break. They just keep you company. I thought about all the times I could have said no. No, I don't want to move to Denver. No, I don't want to host Christmas again. No, I don't agree with you. No, that's not okay with me. No. Such a small word. 2 letters, and I couldn't say it. Not once. Not when it mattered. I told myself I was keeping the peace. I told myself I was being kind. I told myself this was what good people did. But the truth is, I was afraid. Afraid of being rejected. Afraid of being disliked. Last year, I had surgery,
and now I'm alone anyway.
I was in the hospital for 4 days. My daughter flew in for the procedure, stayed 1 night, and left. She had to get back to work, she said. I told her I understood. My son sent flowers. A nice arrangement. The card said, "Feel better soon, Mom." The nurses were kind. They checked on me, helped me walk, brought me meals. But at night, the room was quiet, and I thought about all the people I had taken care of over the years. The dinners I'd made, the errands I'd run, the hours I'd spent listening to other people's problems. None of them came. And I realized something that should have broken my heart, but somehow just felt true. Being nice hadn't made people love me. It had made them comfortable around me. There's a difference. Love requires knowing someone. And I had never let anyone know me. I had only let them use me. That's not their fault. It's mine. I want to be careful here. I'm not saying kindness is wrong. I'm not saying you should be selfish or cold or unkind. But there's a difference between kindness and disappearance. Kindness comes from fullness. You give because you have something to give, and you choose to give it. What I did came from emptiness. I gave because I was afraid that without giving, I'd have no value. I erased myself one yes at a time, thinking it would make people stay. It didn't. If you're listening to this and you recognize yourself in what I'm saying, I want you to hear me. Your voice matters. Your needs are real. Saying no doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a person. The people who love you for always agreeing don't love you. They love what you do for them. And when you stop, they'll leave. That's not love. That's convenience. I wish someone had told me that when I was 30, or 40, or even 50. I wish someone had looked at me and said, "Margaret, what do you want?" And I wish I had known the answer. I'm 76 now. My body is slower. My hands shake a little in the mornings. I take pills I can't pronounce and go to doctors who speak to me like I'm already half gone. But I'm still here. And I've started, just in the last year or so, to say no. Small things. I told my neighbor I couldn't watch her dog next weekend. I told my daughter I didn't want to talk when she called in the middle of her commute and could only give me 5 distracted minutes. I told the book club what I really thought of last month's novel. They didn't agree with me, but they heard me. And for a moment, I existed. It's too late to get back what I lost. I know that. I can't reclaim the years I gave away or the self I never became. But I can stop pretending. I can stop performing niceness for people who never asked me who I really was. I can sit here in this apartment and finally, be honest. This is who I am, an old woman who spent her whole life saying yes. Who smiled through her own disappearance? Who made everyone comfortable except herself? And if you're doing the same thing, I'm asking you to stop. Not for me, for you. Because one day you'll be 76, sitting in a room alone, and you'll realize that all that niceness didn't save you. It just made it easier for the world to forget you were ever there. Don't let them forget you. And more than that, don't forget yourself. I'm still learning, even now at the end. It's not too late for you.